I'm Heather Smith and welcome to Cloud Stories, a podcast exploring the accounting and business apps community. On today's episode, I'm bringing you the energy and excitement of interviews from the Xero Brisbane Roadshow. Listen closely as I explain in order who I'm talking to. I do try to introduce them at the start of each segment, but sometimes things don't go as planned. So first off, we speak to Kylie Wing, CMO at Approval Max, a tool for getting your bills and expenses approved and paid on time. Then Evan Barker, General Manager at Synnch, a tool for assisting with your R&D tax incentive. Tony Harcourt, Co-Founder at WorkGuru, a comprehensive job costing and optional stock control solution for SMBs. Then Corey Cacic, Founder and CTO of Annature, a tool for affordable eSignatures and identity verification. Colleen Diver, who currently is the Managing Director at Logic HQ Pty Ltd. Colleen Diver was also one of the early Xero Account Managers in Queensland and Northern Territory. She was also the original founder of Diverse Business Consultants, the business featured in the Xero keynote address, as well as Diverse being a play on her name Diver, D-I-V-E-R. She told me that she named the business Diverse because at the time she was diverse and worked across MYOB, SaaSu and Xero. SaaSu, that's a blast from the past. Until, in her words, Xero eventually won her heart. And it's an Aussie podcast, so we can never have too many Kylies. Our second Kylie on the episode is Kylie Drury, Director of Sales and Operation at Fishbowl. Fishbowl is a manufacturing and warehouse management for repeat products. It's suitable if you're doing the same thing all the time and managing a production line. If, however, you're doing something custom or bespoke, then you'd look at WorkGuru. It's important to understand the differences between the inventory solutions in the market. And finally, David Boyer, TEDx speaker, CEO of Change GPS, host of From the Trenches podcast and conference, joins the show for the first time. At his request, his segment was heavily trimmed, so hopefully I'm sharing the good bits, and that's why the interview is a little bit choppy, but it was a lot of fun. I'm grateful to strategically partner with a number of apps who support me to support the community. In this episode, full disclosure, I strategically partner with Approval Max, Annature and WorkGuru. You can find full details of how I strategically partner with businesses on my website. And I encourage you to stay up to date with the curated content I'm sharing by signing up for the Accounting Apps newsletter available at https://heathersmithau.com. Enjoy the episode and let me know what your highlight was from attending the roadshow. Hello everyone, I'm here with Kylie Wing of Approval Max and we're at Xero Brisbane Roadshow. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kylie.
No worries, Heather. Thanks for having me.
Can you tell me, Kylie, what's your favourite Xero Roadshow buzzword?
Right, well, it may be a buzzword, but it's super important, but I'd say e-invoicing. The number of times that I've had conversations with people about e-invoicing, I wouldn't say it's really a buzzword, you might categorise it like that, but it's a whole new category where we really want to draw attention to e-invoicing as a platform and how it can be a better solution for a lot of people who are using traditional methods such as PDFs, via email, etc.
That's an interesting pick for a buzzword, but yeah, it does seem to be everywhere at the moment over the last, 18 months, e-invoicing. So can you share with us, Kylie, can you share with the Cloud Story podcast listeners what your solution does and what you do?
Yeah, super. Approval Max is approval automation. It's used for businesses who deal with a lot of invoices, bills, purchase orders. It's taking away all the pain and manual burden and time from doing these things one by one, day by day. It's automating the entire approval process from an AP platform and turning it into this beautiful, efficient machine where you can bring in multi-level approvers in multiple roles, have these approval matrices. It just takes care of all the thinking. So whoever the poor person is that has to deal with approvals isn't having to chase multiple people day in, day out. Really important if your business or your client who has a business, is dealing with hundreds of invoices, say like, stealing their time. It's a whole world of happiness that you can step into.
A whole world of happiness. Yeah, it's automating the check process that is so time consuming. So can you share with us, and I know you might not have a definitive answer for this, but how long does it take to plan and implement Approval Max?
Right, well, once you're very aware that there are problems within the business, usually it's a point of identifying that. It depends on the maturity of the business and how long the problems have been happening. But once they've been identified and where the risk areas are as well, it can be very short to understand, right, we have a problem on our hands, let's work with Approval Max. And we have a team that can help with implementation. But depending on what the needs are, it's a matter of understanding who do we need to train up, who's going to head this project and lead the rollout for us. And then after that, it's identifying who are the approvers or the decision makers that are going to have to use the tool, because that's a huge part as well. And thank goodness our tool is quite intuitive, so there's not a huge amount of user training. It's just very easy for anyone from tradies to, you name it. Like I had a case study where there were a number of project managers for a construction firm, and they said, look, we're not tech savvy, but we've managed to figure this out and know how to use Approval Max based on very limited training. But the amount of implementation time, look, I'm sorry, but it depends on how these things are run and who implements it.
Yeah.
It can be very quick. It can take up to months, but ideally we'd like it to be as soon as possible because it solves a big problem.
Yeah, no, and I have been on the stand today during the break at the Brisbane Xero Roadshow, and I'm there signing copies of Xero for Dummies, and people have been coming up and saying, woohoo, I managed to do the implementation myself, and it's working really well. So, that's always a hurdle that we think about, and that it's great that it is easy. It's user-friendly and people are able to implement it. So what have been some of the new features and functionalities that have come out in the last year that people perhaps are not aware of?
Right, okay. We have some wonderful features that have come out. One is called budget checking. Another one is bill to PO matching. One is auto approvals. And the other one is contact or vendor supply approvals. Okay, so those are fantastic features that a lot of our customers are now telling us, hey, we've been waiting for this. Thank goodness they've come now, but we can now step into this. And just it's almost like it's more than just approvals. Yeah. It's this whole extra layer of features and functionality to help with all that administrative stuff. That, like, let's just take one example, budget checking. Oh, well, now I don't have to manually do that. It's all on one screen, thank goodness. Another recent one, it's in beta at the moment, is batch payment approvals for Xero. So this is a whole another feature that is very new to us. We're rolling that out, and we'll have some wonderful case studies coming up very soon to talk about how we're making that part a lot simpler as well.
Can you share with us any secrets or features and functionalities you have planned for 2023?
Well, we will have a big kick-off soon. I won't mention them just yet because we're still building a lot of mystery, but I can say, hand on heart, 2023 is going to be a very exciting year for Approval Max, here down under globally as well. But for now, I don't want to spoil any surprises, so I'm going to keep my lips sealed. I know that's probably what you don't want to hear, but I just assure you it'll be worth it. Be worth it. Sorry, let me go back to your previous one as well. Yeah, I forgot to mention, if you're wanting to look at those features, take a look on our website because all the information is there. It's the fastest way to find out everything I've just mentioned. That should be an obvious one, though. Just go to the website.
Absolutely. What are you looking forward to in 2023, Kylie?
Oh, well, from a personal level, just a bit more calm in the world, but I think that's the feeling from everyone. The things I'm really looking forward to, and I had this conversation with you before, but it's getting out of like the, beyond features, beyond usage, and what does your product do and how do you add value. It's really getting to understand like what are the actual pain points and how are they slightly different, because there's all these different pain points, but what are the subcategories of pain that people are now feeling, because there's subcategories of pain and then there's subcategories of pain. And I think every app partner has a responsibility to understand how we can improve on that, and we all have a part to play in the bigger picture because happiness is key. Yeah. Making people feel like I can do the best work of my career is key, and how, being on the ride with Xero, we wouldn't have it any other way. I know they're committed.
I think that as an advisor, a bookkeeper, an accountant, talking to your client and saying, what's your pain at the moment? That's a really great question to ask them. Even if you can't solve it, you at least have an understanding of it and then can come back and identify Approval Max or other solutions out there as the solution.
And sometimes they may not know that they have this level of problem of pain because they feel it, but they may not have the words to actually put it together or connect those dots to understand, hey, this is actually growing, or this is this new symptom, this little niggle that I've had for a while. I never really thought too much of it, like going to a doctor and talking to your doctor about something. You just, I didn't think it was important, so I never failed to mention. I just didn't mention it to you. But these things really, automation can make you happy. People need to believe in it and just adopt it and let.
I never had an issue with installing desktop software and crawling under a desk and putting that CD in until Rod Drury stood in front of me and just his brain exploded and said, it shouldn't be like this. And I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, absolutely. I had no frustration until that point. And he said, yeah, you should be frustrated. You should be really upset about this. So I want to also highlight, I've been on the stand today, and a number of people who came along said their clients were NFPs and sporting organisations. So they're obviously key niches for people who are interested in Approval Max. And I also want to ask Kylie, how can people get in contact with you?
Well, first of all, they can come through to the website and just take a look at what we're offering and see if that fits their needs. In terms of NFPs, charities, sporting organisations, any type of business or organisation that's getting funding, I'll use sorry for the pun, but it's a slam dunk. Approval Max is a total slam dunk, especially for those organisations that are getting audited heavily as well. We have a built-in automatic audit feature. I mean, it just makes total sense to take advantage of that and not do, double handle the work when it comes to audit. Same thing, fraud has come up, very topical in Australia at the moment, but fraud prevention, having a detection tool, that's something that is under the whole roof of Approval Max when you sign up to the plan, and it's something that we're very passionate about as well, bringing more attention to businesses on how to, be safe and secure, but also have these financial controls in place so that you can create happiness for yourself, your business, but also your board, if you have a board that you're reporting to.
Thank you so much, Kylie, for talking to me in the Xero Brisbane Roadshow.
I always love talking to you. Thank you.
Cheers. Hello, Evan Barker from Synnch. Thank you for joining the Cloud Stories podcast. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you, Heather.
So the first question I have for you, Evan, what's your favourite Xero Roadshow buzzword?
Today, obviously integration's a big one. Customer experience too. I think a lot of people are interested in customer experience and aligning that with the broader Xero mission. But yeah, definitely for us, probably innovation is what we're interested in.
Awesome. Can you share with us what your solution, now it's called Synnch, and that's Synnch, what Synnch does?
Sure. So Synnch is a online application for managing R&D tax claims in Australia and New Zealand. So obviously the R&D tax incentive is a lucrative tax offset available to businesses conducting eligible innovation. Synnch uses your R&D tax claim and creates a compliance framework so you can manage your claim and compliance obligations online. And we integrate with Xero to pull evidence out of Xero to help substantiate your claim further. So we pull payroll across, we pull expense-coded accounts from Xero across, and we connect those with our timesheets in Xero to create an accrued estimate of R&D expenditure year to date.
Awesome. So how long does it take to plan and implement Synnch?
So Synnch is generally about a 3-hour kind of integration timeline.
Not very long
at all.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll assist you. So we dedicate some time to that. So our basic customer journey starts with a recent R&D tax claim. If we don't have one, we can provide scoping workshops as well for first-time claimants. Mm-hmm. So once we have a claim set up in the system, we provide an hour of training to show claimants how to use the system, an additional hour of training around Xero or a record-keeping strategy. So we find out who in the business should be keeping records and meeting those compliance obligations with the ATO, and we teach them how to do it. Now, we can do that on behalf of your clients or your advisors, and accountants can do that for them.
So do you find, and this is the area I'm ignorant of, does a client typically have an ongoing R&D status, or is it like a one-off thing? And so how do they use your solution with that regards?
Great. So we find the average R&D tax incentive life cycle is 3 years.
Okay.
So to use a quick customer story, we might have a startup with an intangible software product. They might begin with the idea. We'll generally help them through the conceptualization of the idea to an MVP, and then the scale of that MVP to something more robust and more market-centric. Generally what you'll find with R&D is we're doing R&D to develop new products or services. So we're interested in those new product or service life cycles. For your accountants and advisors, what they should be thinking about, or trigger points that they should be looking at within their client base, is who's buying new plant and equipment within their process line, who regularly has high volume product development. So for example, formulation based development in food and beverage or brewing and distilling, or as well as high volume innovation in things like robotics, mechanical engineering, industrial design, or even agency side, like software agencies are a good example. So we find it's triggered on the client side, like their clients will come to them with a problem. Can you fix this? Can you build that? Or it's triggered within their area of planned innovation where the founder sets out to do something. In both cases, generally accountants know exactly what's going on. Yeah.
So does that mean that you're typically not with a client for the full life of the client? It's just like going in for 3 years.
No.
So you're constantly having to find new clients.
That's right, we do, yeah. So generally, 3 years. Well, 3 years is a pretty average for any SaaS business for a lifetime. We've got clients who have been with us 6 years, but they're highly innovative businesses who are really striving to remain competitive in that way. So we do, but that's okay because we're really interested in innovation, and that's what we really exist to do. Like, our product exists to make R&D tax incentives more accessible.
Yeah.
And what we find is it's traditionally skewed to larger claimants who can sort of service the large advisory costs and or costs in running an R&D program. So our product starts at $89 a month. And really takes the pain out of R&D tax compliance for smaller claimants.
I imagine the partnership with the accountant is really important to you. I'm not sure if whether bookkeepers get involved in that space. Yep. Does the accountant access a dashboard of your solution, of all his or her clients on your solution?
Both. So should an accountant choose to partner with us, they can access a free partner account, a firm account for free. So they can manage their clients. They can set up announcements for their client base, and they can also manage their team of advisors and set up different permissions within different clients. So the accountant is super important to us because obviously as the trusted advisor, they're often closely advising their customers around investment in new product development. And as we discussed earlier, that's really the trigger point we're looking for. But the accountant is also critical to us because unlike the R&D tax consultant, there's also more interest in progressive compliance achievement. R&D tax claims are written retrospectively, so 12 months worth of data is used to develop the claim, and it can be lodged anywhere up to April 30 the following income year. So we tend to find accountants take a more proactive role in compliance management, and that's what our system does.
Oh, okay, excellent. It's interesting, and I imagine that accountants discovering your solution, it might actually make them more incentivized to encourage their clients to explore the R&D because you've made it easier for everyone.
That's the dream, absolutely, Heather. Yeah, that's the dream. Yeah, if we can help them feel more confident about compliance advisory within the R&D tax incentive, job done, and we've got lots of different customer stories to show how that's possible using Synnch.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. Now I've got a couple more questions. What are you looking forward to in 2023?
2023 is a breakthrough year for Synnch. We're really all about activating partnerships within the R&D consultant, accountant, and also an R&D producer segment, so people like industrial designers, mechanical engineers, etc. Yep. So we've been travelling a lot, talking to these innovative advisors, showing them how our technology works, and so far the interest in our technology has been amazing, and we just can't believe how much support we're finding in the marketplace. We're also looking forward to 3 huge features. So we've got optical character recognition coming for claim import. So you can import your claim same day, or you can set up a bunch of claims to import. We've got a huge new export and filter dashboard coming. And we've got brand new dashboards coming for our accountant and R&D tax partners. So these are huge. So we're kind of taking our MVP, which we've been enhancing for a couple of years, and we're really adding those robust tools to allow partners to get data insights around their claimants.
Oh, excellent. That sounds like a really useful tool, especially for the accountants who are interested in that area, and a lot of people. So for those people who are interested, how can they get in contact with you and find out more?
Cool. So just head to synnch.com.au to find all the information around our brand. For accountants, you can head to synnch.com.au/partner-promo, and you can find all the information around the promotional offers that we offer just to accounting partners. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm prolific there. So just look for Evan Barker, GM Synnch. I'd be happy to come and connect and tell you more about our product.
Awesome. Thank you for talking to the Cloud Stories podcast, Evan.
No worries, Heather. My pleasure.
Hey, Tony Harcourt from Work Guru. How are you going?
Good, Heather. How are you?
So what's your favourite Xero Roadshow buzzword?
Oh, lunch.
Awesome. So you're a friend of the Cloud Stories podcast. You're here at the Xero Brisbane Roadshow. What's been the highlight of the day for you?
Engagement. It's very noticeable how very engaged everyone here is. And there's been a real pattern of slightly different engagement in cities, but Brisbane has been absolutely fantastic. It had lots of really good conversations with people.
Are you saying Brisbane are the best?
Yeah, I am. Just like Brisbane is the best and Brisbane people are the best.
They are, absolutely. Now, I spoke to you recently on the podcast, but is there anything else I should know that's happened in the last few months that we should highlight to our listeners?
Not happened yet, but happening. We're releasing, hopefully next month, payments built into the Work Guru platform as a native payments piece. We've got a few other integrations coming up with Asana, Google Drive, and Dropbox. Should all be released this quarter.
So
lots of integrations
doing
work.
Some integrations, partnerships, that's fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah.
Really helpful for the community to be able to build out that way. So that's sensational.
Yeah.
So good to catch up with you. What are you looking forward to in 2023?
Normality. Hopefully a little bit of normality. And this will be the first year that we've been able to focus fully on Work Guru, so that's going to be fantastic. But getting out and seeing a lot of people, building out all of our integrations and our partnerships, that's really what we're looking forward to this year.
Fantastic. How can people get in contact with you, Tony?
Through the website, workguru.io, or email me at tony@workguru.io, or give us a call on the 1300 number.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Heather.
Hello, Corey. Thank you for joining us on the Cloud Stories podcast. Can you tell us who you are and what's the company you work for?
Yeah, so I'm Corey, and we started Annature in 2020. Amrita Abbott, Vitaly Simon and I. We came from a background of corporate compliance and working with documentation for close to 10 years. And e-signing was a natural progression of that. Documentation all need signatures, and we felt that the products in the market weren't a good fit for Australian businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're here at the Xero Brisbane Roadshow. What's your favourite Xero Roadshow buzzword?
Buzzword, automation.
Very good.
Everything is automation.
Very good. So your solution offers sort of two core products. How long does it take to plan and implement and do an implementation?
For e-signing, which is our first product that we started, I'd say planning and implementation can be anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Quite quick.
Wow.
Yes. And I think that really boils down to the usability of the product, and there really not being a whole lot that e-signing needs to achieve. It needs to accept a PDF document, get it to the client as quickly and easily as possible, and get it signed.
It's one of those, the e-signing bit is one of those, if you're looking for some time saving and there's any form of signature involved in your workflow process, it's one of those really easy ones to adopt and get quick wins with.
It is. There's really not a lot of setup involved, and the key feature that we attribute the success of the product to is our ability to send out SMS notifications to your clients. So with other products, we see the need to create an account, sign in, people have forgotten their password, that's then another hurdle. So the SMSs are a super quick way to reach clients that are constantly on the go, and the ability to just tap a link and sign. It's 10, 15 seconds for that signature.
Excellent. And for the other solution that you have, how long do you think that takes to plan and implement?
ID verification. So It depends on where that fits within a business and I guess the age of that business. For new businesses, it's great because as you're bringing on new clients, you can verify them straight away. For businesses that have been running for many years, there can be an implementation process where you want to go back and re-verify clients that you have been working with, and that can be anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to set up, get existing verifications out and done, and create a process during the engagement and onboarding to understand where that request for completion of verification should take place.
Thank you for that. So what new features and functionalities have come out for your solutions, maybe in the last year, that people are unaware of and should be aware of?
In the last year, so XeroCon was the launch of our integration with Xero Practice Manager, which was received incredibly well. The day of XeroCon, where we launched it, we had 350 connections to Xero Practice Manager. It was a long time coming and the most requested integration that we had. ID is still, while it's been out for a little over a year now, it's still relatively new for us, and it is expanding with the introduction of director IDs. We've built that into the verification process and syncing those results back to Xero Practice Manager, who are now they now have data points to be recording that information against the client.
The ID one is an interesting one because as someone who's spent time in Europe, they are totally across that and talking about that constantly, and it doesn't seem to be the fraud, the need for this ID doesn't seem to have been a bigger issue here in Australia, but definitely is something that we need to implement for fraud, etc.
It is. So both the Tax Practitioners Board and the ATO are continuously updating their notices, setting out what needs to be verified and exactly what steps you need to do in order to satisfy those requirements. And that's something we've been following very closely at Annature to ensure that our product continues to evolve to meet those requirements as they change.
So, Corey, what features and functionalities do you have planned for 2023 release?
Yeah, so Annature at the moment, we spoke about our two products, e-signing and ID verification. From the outset, we always envisioned Annature to be 3 pillars. That third pillar that we'll be launching this year is payments. So the ability to send a document, collect a signature and a payment at the same time. So whether that's an engagement letter where you're collecting a deposit, a single payment, or whether it's an ad hoc piece of work that you're doing and you're signing off on that work and paying either the full amount up front or just the deposit at the same time.
That will be, I'm sure, a very desirable feature functionality.
Absolutely. It, again, has been very heavily requested, and we're building this in a way that isn't necessarily just for the accounting and bookkeeping space. We're building this for the likes of lawyers who are always collecting fees up front through trusts. We're sending it for the construction workers that are out on a job needing something signed off and a deposit or a full payment taken up front. So payments are... It's a beast.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it, but we're working hard on building a solution that will cater for the broader industry verticals.
That's a really exciting sort of 3-tiered rollout that you've done there. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So Corey, what are you looking forward to in 2023?
Well, payments, as I said, is a bit of a beast to build. It's been many months of planning and market research. I do always bring our feature development back to the existing customers we're working with, and we really thank them for their input. Payments this year is going to be big for us. The continued expansion of our ID product, specifically with businesses now, and director ID, the ability to validate director IDs will also be a new change for us. E-signing we see as pretty well-rounded in terms of integrations will continue to grow, but e-signing as a product for us is in a really good spot.
Yeah.
We're quite happy with where that is.
Yeah, and it's an easy one to get a lot of people on board
Absolutely.
with. Mm-hmm. So, Corey, how can people get in contact with you and with Annature?
Yeah, we have a beautiful website, annature.com.au, with a ton of information about the e-signing and the ID product. Our contact form is available on the website. Also, the ability to just start a trial, 7 days. We don't need a credit card to get started. We've got access to all features and our pay-as-you-go subscription is really a low barrier to entry for businesses to get on, use it, and only pay for what you use. If you don't use it, you don't pay.
Yeah, which I know from the forums, a lot of people have commented on the price difference to the solution they've moved from.
Absolutely.
So, which is nice.
Pricing is a huge one for us, and we really want to make sure it's the easiest product to get on without having to pay upfront exorbitant fees, ongoing fees. It's just pay as you go.
Thank you so much, Corey, for talking to the Cloud Stories podcast.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Hello, Colleen Diver. Welcome to the Cloud Stories podcast. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you, Heather. It's always a delight to see you.
Absolutely. So the last time Colleen and I saw each other, it was about 10 degrees hotter, and we were at London XeroCon together.
Strangely.
Very strangely. And we were in beanbags. They had us in beanbags watching the stage, which was spectacular.
What a challenge to get up from.
It was. But here we are today at Xero Brisbane Roadshow, and Colleen is one of the originals of the Xero adopters in this universe. In fact, you were a really strong player with all of the general ledger solutions, weren't you, Colleen?
I was. That's why my business name was diverse. But because I did like using MYOB, QuickBooks. Half my business was based in SaaSu. I just like to keep it interesting.
Yeah, and
Xero won my heart.
Ooh. And in fact, in the early days when I was facilitating the ICB monthly member meetups, you were the one coming along doing the SaaSu demonstrations, which we were most appreciative of.
I was. Thank you, Heather. That was terrifying. That was my first foray into public speaking since high school.
Oh, you did a great job.
Thanks.
We both remember that. But look, it was a time when we were looking at all the solutions out there, and it's interesting that you say Xero won your heart.
Yeah, it was a really interesting time to be in the industry. I think if Xero hadn't come along, I might have jumped out of it earlier. You know, it really opened up the scope of the app, all the different apps that came along, just gave us this whole new world to play in.
Yeah.
Whereas before that, it was just really number crunching. And it made the life much more interesting.
It did, and it was interesting. We both probably had a really strong MYOB bent at the time, but I'd like to now just say, okay, focused on hearing about the apps. So you're here at the Xero Brisbane Roadshow. You've been to many, many roadshows. Are there any apps here today that you've seen that are of interest to you?
To be honest, I haven't seen too much that is... I've seen most of them before, but I have just had a chat to Plan Day. I have a client with about 80 staff across 3 hospitality venues, been trying to get her onto one of these kind of apps for a very long time now. She's quite resistant to change. And I have had a good chat to Plan Day, and the fact that they are based in Copenhagen, I believe. Also piques my interest because I will be returning to Norway. The plan is to spend half each year in Norway, so with them being a big European country, I definitely look forward to exploring Plan Day more and seeing how I can incorporate that into my client's business and maybe potentially in my time in Norway.
Absolutely. So you really, not necessarily the digital nomad lifestyle, but you've embraced the world traveller lifestyle, and is it kind of like 6 months here in Brisbane, 6 months in Norway?
Yeah, that's the plan. So, it is, not entirely digital nomad, but I actually wrote down the other day the number of countries I have worked in, and including airport stopovers, I think I'm up to 12.
Yeah.
So, that's the beauty.
And we're so fortunate to be living in this time when we can travel and work from anywhere and still have this nice business and be able to support our clients. And it is interesting that your Plan Day to come out of, where was it? Copenhagen?
Yeah, I think it's Copenhagen.
It was such an unusual purchase for Xero to find a solution. I think none of us predicted that one.
No. It was all by surprise. Yeah.
We all have these prediction webinars, and no one predicted, Copenhagen purchase. Because sometimes the purchases are for the customer base, not necessarily the functionality. And it's like, I'm not sure.
This one was different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So looking forward to exploring it.
Yeah, well, I'm keen to hear what you think of it.
Well, it will just make my life so much easier, because when I was in Norway last time, I was getting up, depending on whether daylight saving was in or not, either at 5:30am to start at 6 or 6:30 to start at 7, and sit down with this client over the phone and punch in the hours for 80 staff over the 3 venues.
Oh, that sounds
and
like
it's something I'd rather not do when I return.
Yeah, okay. Well, I hope it gets implemented. I hope it all works out for you.
Yes,
do you see much of a difference in Brisbane Xero or cloud, let's say cloud adoption, and Norwegian cloud adoption, or are you not taking on clients overseas?
No, I'm not taking on clients over there. No, that's just a whole other tax system that I have no idea about.
Yeah,
and
fair enough.
Yeah.
It's just it's still supporting your Brisbane Australian clients while being anywhere.
And last time I went, it was I didn't have the right to work. I'm looking at getting a different type of visa this time, so that might be different. But I also might use that to do something completely different. Like they're often looking for tour guides, so I might just go and be a tour guide for people to get off the cruise ships in Bergen, and start taking life in a bit of a different direction.
Yeah, look, and as we go through life's a journey, and we have different chapters, and that's a wonderful part of it. And you can shrink down your books while keeping a lot of it running.
Exactly.
So that's quite interesting. And the visa thing is interesting, because I flit and float between countries, and people have said, "Oh, you're getting the right visa." Anyway, no one follow up with me on that one, because I'm just like going, "Well, I'm not really getting money from the country that I'm in, so I just consider it not to be working there." Yeah. But anyhow, so what are you looking forward to in 2023?
Getting back to Norway, seeing more of Europe. I'm going to start in Spain, and then maybe see some of the Baltic countries this year.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and also hanging out with my gorgeous grandchildren.
Oh, that's wonderful. So are you going to be making us jealous with photos of you doing bass in Barcelona and photos like that?
That would require me to post on social media, which I'm not the greatest at, but we'll see. I'll try and improve.
You can just send me emails, and I'll.
Okay, you can post them for me. Sure.
I can post them for you. Oh, but that's I think lifestyle. I think after the bruising we've had over the last 2 years, lifestyle's really important, and we really need to design it.
Yes.
We have the smarts to do that. We have the tools to do that. We've got the robots doing the stuff for us. We've got to design it and focus on the solutions.
I do feel lucky to be in this industry that has all of these capabilities to enable me to do this.
Absolutely.
There's just no way I want to spend another winter in Norway. It was too hard for this Brisbane girl to do all the cold, dark and wet.
I can imagine. How can people get in contact with you, Colleen?
If they do want to get in contact with me,
can they find you on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Colleen Diver. Yeah, there's not too many of us out there.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, I think the other one who pops up is a lawyer in New York, so I'm not that
Fantastic. person. Looks like we're taking a break, so we'll take a photo. Thank you so much for joining me on the Cloud Stories podcast.
Pleasure to chat as always.
Hello, Kylie. Welcome to the Cloud Stories podcast. Thank you very much for being here. Can you share with me who you are and what your solution does?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kylie Drury. I'm the Director of Sales and Operations for Fishbowl Inventory Asia Pacific. Fishbowl is a full inventory, warehouse and manufacturing management software offering. We have one of the new things that's just happened with Fishbowl recently is we've launched our SaaS product. So Fishbowl now has an advanced SaaS and on-premise product for our clients.
Wow, that's huge news.
Yes, very exciting. We've actually had our US team that have been just here at the event today. They've come over from the US on the weekend as part of our launch here in Australia.
Oh, very exciting for you. So we're at the Xero Brisbane Roadshow. What's your favourite Xero Roadshow buzzword?
Ooh, buzzword. That's a tricky question. I would say cloud, SaaS.
Very good.
By far. We've had a great day here today. We've had so many good businesses come along and talk to us, accountants, bookkeepers. They all have clients needing an inventory solution, so we've really been thrilled with today.
Look, I'm always harping on to the bookkeeping industry, particularly that focusing on inventory is a really good niche area to make a good money out of.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and for them as well, that they're finding solutions for their clients. It's going to make their clients make more money, make their lives easier, give them control over their business that they often have lost control of with their stock. So
Yeah. No, it's so many benefits of good inventory management. So how long does it take to plan and implement a solution?
really quick with us, and I mean, we very much cater our implementation packages to our clients, but generally a typical implementation is 4 to 6 weeks. Usually most clients will implement Fishbowl within that 6-week mark. Some might do it earlier, some might take 2 or 3 weeks, but generally, 6 weeks. Very quick turnaround time from implementation, getting their data together, training, helping them integrate with Xero, and then away they go.
Who does the training?
Our in-house internal implementation consultants. So we've got a team of fully trained Fishbowl specialists, and we assign one of those implementation consultants to each client that comes on board, and they do everything with the client from beginning to being live.
Okay, so the accountant and bookkeeper can just take a sniff of advisory and go, this company needs inventory, and they can just introduce them to you.
That's right, yep. So we completely take charge of the whole process with the client. That way the bookkeeper or the accountant can relax a little. However, they're involved the whole way as much as they want to be too. So some of them want to be hands-on involved, which we completely keep them on board with. Yeah. Others are happy to step away from the project, so we work with them.
That's sensational, and I think that's really important for the community to understand. It can be a sniff, or it can be a full-on deep dive into the solution and the integration and the partnership with you.
Absolutely, and when we take that partnership really seriously, we have quite a lot of bookkeepers that we've worked with over the years who still refer clients onto us, every year, which we love. They all get to know us really well. We look after them. We refer our clients back to them as well.
Yeah.
So.
Fantastic. Well, that actually is a really important point, that you're actually referring clients back to the community, the bookkeepers, the accountants, because it helps them grow their business in that inventory space.
Absolutely, and then we get to know people over time that that we trust, and we know we're going to look after our clients. Our client service is everything to us, and so when we find those people, we love to refer business their way as well.
Good thing to know about. So what are some new features and functionalities that have come out in the last year?
Well, the most exciting one is our SaaS product that's launching, Fishbowl Drive, right now. So over the coming weeks, we'll be launching that here in Australia. So we've implemented our barcode scanning. We have new shipping solutions. We have a new payment tool coming out soon. So there's quite a lot going on with Fishbowl right now.
Wow. So I was going to ask you what you had planned for 2023, but I think you've already shared all the things you got planned.
Almost. There's a lot more coming. So, yes.
Fantastic. So what are you looking forward to at Fishbowl for 2023? You've got all that functionality coming. Is there anything else that we should know about?
Well, really, one of the key things that happened last year is we were brought on board. We were acquired by our Fishbowl USA parent company. So this year, we're very much about growth here in the Australian market. So our office is based on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, where we look after all companies that use Fishbowl across Australia, New Zealand, Asia Pacific. So there's a lot coming up for our Australian clients. For many have been with us for 10 years plus.
Wow.
As well as the new clients coming on board.
That's really exciting.
It really is.
And great to hear a local Sunshine Coast success story.
It is, absolutely. Yeah, based in a really beautiful part of Australia. We're very lucky.
Yeah, no, you are very lucky. So how can people get in contact with Fishbowl?
They can contact us directly, so via our website, fishbowlinventory.com.au. They can call our team. We have our support team, our client success team, our sales team here via 1300 785 755, and they press option 2.
Very good. Thank you so much, Kylie, for talking to the Cloud Stories podcast.
Thanks, Heather. Really nice to talk to you.
I'm here at the Xero
We're already recording.
Brisbane Roadshow with David Boyer. You're at the Xero Brisbane Roadshow.
We are.
What have you thought of today?
Xero remains the only organisation in the accounting ecosystem that can get an energetic community together. They're amazing. It's the best thing. There is nothing like it. I'm so happy that it's back at the start of the year. GPS is only exhibiting in Brisbane. We haven't exhibited any other roadshows. We're also not doing Accountex or ABE, so we're really streamlining our physical events because our webinars have just become so popular, and a great way for us to reach more people. And when 3,000 people come on a webinar, that's awesome for us, and it's great for the accounting community. But the vibe here today is very positive, typical Queenslander vibe. It's a cool day by Brisbane summer standards, which I like, but all the Victorians are sweating and schwitzy as they get off stage. That's how I can tell I've adjusted. And I think it's fantastic that Xero's running this early in the year, and I'm really excited for XeroCon later in the year.
The Xero Roadshows are always run in February. So why
last year it was later because of the Delta Omicron, one of the variants.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Disrupted the work. I think it wasn't as good last year.
Fair enough, yeah, no, absolutely. So have you seen anything here today? Have you heard anything here today that's been of interest to you?
Well, I know a lot of these people, Heather, so do you. There's not a lot of new things. This Synnch thing's new, R&D, grants into R&D.
It's Synnch. Like sewing Synnch.
Its branding looks like someone who took an acid trip and came up with an accounting app. Keep it simple. Dot points. They're just accountants.
David, for my audience, tell them what Change GPS does.
Change GPS is your practice in a box. Our core app has 500 downloadable tools and resources, but it's our tax planning app that goes bonkers this time of the year. Completely automate your tax planning. Don't do it. You can do it in Excel, but we produce a 20-page client-friendly report so clients understand your advice and actually take action. Particularly relevant this year with Section 100A, OIS case, and professional firm profit allocation. A lot of Aussie taxpayers will be paying more tax, and we do not want them blaming their accountant. It was the ATO's fault.
I find it extremely interesting that Australia's leading management accountant is pushing tax tools and tax advisory.
I never said I was a management accountant, although that was the only subject I actually did well in when I was doing my CA and accounting at university. No, because this is the stuff that accountants do. So all the virtual CFO staff, and I co-founded the Virtual CFO Association, which is what I think you're referring to. I always thought that was for CFOs who had lots of commercial experience. But for the public practitioner, that still remains quite a niche, that sort of work. This is the stuff that accountants are already doing. And it's unfortunate that accountants can't find a way to monetize the conversations they have with their clients because they think it's customer service or they'll never pay me for that. But that's where the actual advice is. And that's where accountants get caught out because that's the client call at 5:30 when they want to be at dinner with their kids. Well, the accountants should be charging for that and they shouldn't be apologising to their clients that they're about to send them an invoice for that because there isn't another professional in my life who I can talk to at 5:30 and not get charged.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, and you can ask me to cut this out if you want.
I want you to cut the start out. You said no.
I will cut the start out. That during some of those challenging times, you and Tim and the Change GPS were pushing, this is how you can help your clients. These are the tools that you can help your clients and make sure you are charging your clients for that. While some of the professional associations were saying you shouldn't be charging your clients for that, which I think was wrong on their behalf. And there was a lot of well-being issues amongst accountants who came to me and said, I haven't billed for a month.
Are we talking about the effectiveness of accounting bodies now? No, it's the wrong advice. It was terrible advice. I didn't hear that they said that. They shouldn't have. Because a lot of the accountants now who didn't charge, and everyone has their passion projects so they never charge enough for, but firms who decided point blank we're just not going to charge for anything, I bet you those clients called you up the second this was over and says, I need my BAS to be lodged, I'm going for a car loan, and they don't care about you.
Yeah. And it's right. We should be charging. And one of the things that did come out today was be brave, raise your prices.
You have to. Demand is up, supply is down. So straight away, economic principles say you're allowed to do it. And the clients that are going to leave are the clients who you don't want anyway. But get the tools to do it. I've been to so many conferences and so have you, and people rah-rah on the stage. You need to value price, and they wave Ron Baker's eponymous book in the air. It's 10 kilos and a very difficult read. GPS has the tools to do it. Just send the emails that we've written. 700 firms are using them. They work. You can just sign up. You get all of that. Automates all the client communications. The clients call you up and say, yes, I would like to engage you for X. And it is okay. I'm expecting an invoice.
Yeah, absolutely. And they should be expecting an invoice if they're wanting...
What did you see new at Roadshow today, Heather?
Synnch.
Right.
I actually went to the Newcastle Roadshow as well as the Brisbane Roadshow.
Newcastle.
Newcastle one. I flew down there last week.
I thought they called it Newcastle.
What did I say?
Newcastle, which is what I used to say.
No one can... No,
did you see the fighter jets at the airport?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I just watched Top Gun that week, and then I saw that and I was like, this is the best delay I've ever had in my life. I don't want to leave.
So I went to the museum as well.
That is amazing.
It's massive. The museum at the Newcastle airport is massive.
Newcastle.
Apparently.
I don't know. That's what I got told. I could be wrong.
I have no idea, and I'm sure the people of Newey will get in contact with us. So what can we expect from Change GPS in 2023?
Wow. So we're surrounded by 3 people from Change GPS who all just pricked up because they're waiting to find out. We're working on a range of new products this year. Tax Plan Advance is coming out in a couple of months, which is the first real big change we've had to Tax Plan since we launched it. Section 100A changes the way you do distributions. We've got professional firm profit allocation, which is doctors are going to be paying more, white-collar workers are going to be paying more, which I think is unfair, but we won't get into that today. And as well, we're starting to see a lot of firms are shying away from using Div 7A bucket company loans and they want to start repaying back those loans. So we've got new advice reports in Tax Plan to deal with that, and that's going to be our Tax Plan Advance product. We're working on an estate planning app, which we've been speaking about for a long time. Heather, would you believe it? 3,500 accountants have come to Change GPS estate planning webinars over the last 2 years. So when people talk about advisory, I'm convinced that's the next wave. We're going to have an estate planning app. I'm not going to put a timeline on it.
No.
But that's going to be coming very soon, and we'll be doing some further enhancements with our other products as well throughout the year, and maybe incorporating some workflows to deal with some demand we're getting from people that we weren't expecting.
I have said this to you privately, but I am really impressed with how you've joined Change GPS and been able to articulate the offering and explain that to the community. All of these apps help the community, and you've done a really great job in that. And while I'm not in the tax compliance area, there are so many people, and you're helping so many people. So thank you for that, and thank you to Tim for that. But thank you.
Tim has really led the way with
that. He has,
We want to grow our business by helping people. That's why we give away so much CPD for free. We don't mind if you buy the product at the end of one of those webinars if you want to, but we're more than happy to keep doing that. And that's the fun stuff for us. That's the best part of the business.
Absolutely. So how can people get in contact with David or Change GPS?
ChangeGPS.com.au. We've got a webinar page now, so jump in. We do a webinar every 2 weeks, me and Tim. There's about 2,000 to 3,000 people come to it now. It's when you think about that, this was wild. We were sitting at XeroCon last year. We look around, there's 3,000 people at XeroCon, and maybe 500 are staff and workers, 20% in New Zealand, the balance are probably bookkeepers. There are more people on Change, more accountants, Australian accountants on Change GPS webinars than at XeroCon. It's pretty wild to think that. So they're like our big events at Change GPS. And the chat goes off, so check them out. Head to the website, sign up to something, and you get an email about it. Trenches is going well. Trenches Online Summit's going to happen this year.
Yes.
You want to get involved in that?
I'm doing 2 panels.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Which ones? You're doing the Bean Ninjas one? That's a good one.
I haven't been told.
So what's really good about that one is we've got about a dozen stories of regular in the trenches accountants. And it's crazy, like the stuff that's happened to them and how they got through. So we're going to elevate those stories and elevate those voices, which I'm really excited about. And we're getting pretty good at running these online events. So it's becoming operationally easy for us. So we can do more with them, which is cool.
No. I'm really excited to be involved with From the Trenches Summit. And kudos again to you. I'm involved with a lot of conferences and a lot of
Are we number one in the world?
And you are doing the right thing by putting accountants out there and striving for that.
Thanks, Heather. I don't know if you know, but I did a TED Talk about it. TEDx.
I have seen. I think it's like the first thing on your LinkedIn profile.
No, is it? No, really? Oh yeah, it featured articles, but it's not like it's not David Boyer TEDx speaker. Like I've done more with my life than that. Yeah, there are people that do a TEDx talk and it's like that's the highlight thing that they've done in their professional career. I think I've done a lot more substantial things since doing that.
Yeah, no, but I think that is really important.
But I did do a TEDx talk. Thanks.
It's a very good one, and I have listened to it.
Thanks.
I have listened to the whole thing. Notes. I'll put a link in the show notes to
Change GPS.
Of course, I'll put a link in the show notes to Change GPS as well. And I,
Heather, can I ask you a question that's been bugging me for a long time?
Yes.
You often change your hair colour.
Yes. Conference branding.
Conference branding. But it's not always the same. So, like, how do you decide what's next? Do you just go to a colour wheel, or do you have darts on a dartboard?
I have a big shelf in my bathroom with all the colours of the rainbow there.
Right.
And if you invite me to a conference, I just grab the colour and put it on.
Right.
But I failed when I went to the Intuit one because I'd started with pink and I put green on it and green turned it to blue.
Oh, no.
And I then recoloured it 3 times and I just got bluer and bluer and bluer. So it was I was very, very...
It's crazy.
I was very...
You were blue. And if you were green, you would die.
I was very embarrassed about it.
And you couldn't be green. So you ended up being embarrassed and dying it's blue.
3 lots of green, I couldn't get it green. Yeah, so that's how I do it, conference.
What else excites you about this year, Heather?
Freedom to travel.
Freedom to travel? You went to 18 Xero cons last year. You know, sit at home. What are you trying to escape, Heather?
Oh, but my children are grown, and so this is what is my life. And
That's
this is what is the cloud world, is that we can travel and be anywhere. So this is I'm very much for pushing the lifestyle accountant.
The lifestyle accountant.
The lifestyle accountant.
You're talking my language, Heather.
I've always pushed the lifestyle accountant, and I try and travel as much as possible, and do that and represent that and be where I want. My kids are now old. I don't have responsibilities at home like that, except for Chester, the border collie.
Yeah, of course.
But what are you looking forward to in 2023, David?
Ooh. I think GPS has gone through really massive growth, and I don't really want to consolidate that. I want that to keep going. But we've just invested in 3 new people, all internal roles, to help sort of beef up our operations and our support and looking after the members that we've got, which is really exciting. And I'm particularly excited for our new products. New product launches are really exciting. I think they're exciting for our team, but seeing new product innovation in the industry that solves real problems, it's rare.
Yeah.
And I think we've got one, so I'm pretty excited for that. And I'm pretty excited for XeroCon at the end of the year. And
are you?
Yeah, I am.
Excellent.
We can do a show on that, about why. It won't be quick. And I'm excited for accountants who I'm pretty sure are going to get a normal holiday period in July this year.
Mm.
I think that's very needed. Very needed. Once you get through that tax planning, structuring, 30 June trust distribution, that 2 weeks off, week off during those school holidays, it's really needed to set up for the sort of the grind bit at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping accountants get that back this year.
And this is something we had recently talked about that I very much try and put up on social media. Lifestyle, relax, be at a dog park, be at a picnic, be enjoying yourself, and hopefully that happens in July for the accountants. But thank you so much, David, for being on the Cloud Stories podcast.
No
I really appreciate it.
This was supposed to go for 2 minutes, wasn't it? No. Thanks, Heather. Thanks for finally having me on your successful show.
I hope you like listening to those interviews from the Xero Brisbane Roadshow. They take a little bit more editing, so hopefully it was a pleasant audio experience. One of the conversations I didn't capture was that with Justin Campbell, Xero staff from the Brisbane office. Congratulations to Justin, who has just celebrated 10 years with Xero, and I've been grateful for his support, insights and tips over the last decade. Sometimes at a conference, the gold happens in the hallways, and my conversation with Justin was dripping with gold. He showed me his Samsung Galaxy Fold, so it's slimline and smaller than my Google Pixel, but when it unfolds, it's huge and much easier for this old lady to use. He also recommended the app Readwise, which imports highlights from ebooks and PDFs and periodically sends them back to you as an email reminder. So if you highlighted something in a book a year ago, it might send you the highlights today, which would then refresh your memory. A great way to absorb learning. So you've been listening to the Cloud Stories podcast. From here, I suggest you join the Xero Mastermind group on Facebook for advanced conversations around the ecosystem. I suggest you subscribe to the Informative Accounting Apps newsletter, which gives you a great overview of the ecosystem space, which is available at https://heathersmithau.com. I encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn and subscribe to the Cloud Stories podcast and leave a 5-star review. Also, let me know what your highlight was from attending the roadshow. I'm Heather Smith, and you've been listening to the Cloud Stories podcast.